Hello, the game has started. It's me to go fast. I have a poor rack, no scoring tiles, no bingo. I think the best I can do is something like double O, so I'm going to change. I'll keep ERT. Well, that looks pretty good. I don't think I have a 7, but I suspect there are a number of 8s with this rack. The U is the main fly in the ointment. Great, 5 floaters to consider. I can't see anything through the K or the I. Now the D looks like a possibility. I was going to say reteamed, that doesn't have a U. Muggier right if there was an I with the G. Well, how annoying, this looks very close to a bingo. I certainly wouldn't want to miss one, but sometimes it happens. Am I missing any suffixes or prefixes which might help? Well, I've got IUM. Close to iteratum. Okay, so I can't see a bingo. So what I'd like to do is play off the U and one of the E's. I could just play uke for 5. That leaves a pretty strong 5-letter rack leave. The alternative to that would be to play something like emu or mew, and I think I'll do that because I think the score justifies it. So I can play mew for 17, slightly dangerous with this triple letter square above ED. Can I play it anywhere safer? No, I don't think so. Great, I'm sure I have a bingo here. I have a carts, secreta, and there are 2 others, creates and serrates. And Kidge doesn't take any floaters, I don't think. I'm certainly not going to try putting a floater on it. At the moment there are several spots available. There's row F, hooking, UG, sug is good. And secreta can also play underneath the E in row I. I'm wondering if I have a bingo beginning or ending with this central E, which reaches the triple word square. Okay, well, secreta in row I remains available. I'm considering row E to see if any of the bingos work. So there's 4 to consider. There's creates and serrates. Neither goes. Acarts and secreta, so none of those work. Pally may take an O in front, I'm not sure. Now I can place secreta 1 square to the left, which is going to score a lot more and make up for the fact that it isn't doubled. I don't think this takes any hooks. Secreta 72. Not good, only 1 vowel, although the Y is a quasi-vowel. I've got the full ending. I don't think there's any 7 or 8 letter bingos with this set, but I should be able to play my way through it. I note that my F can go on top of the Y of Pally, so if I had a 4-letter play, that would score quite well. And I do, I've got fluty and fluit, F-L-U-Y-T, both of which keep CD, which is pretty good. And my opponent may be drawn to this triple word square, leaving that spot available. Now, if that spot is blocked, do I have something across here? Well, I have fly and fud. But those don't feel great. Now, column 11 is a double-double lane, which is available without needing to bingo. Gosh, just wondering about dulcity, dulcify. I think they're both not good. So I can't see a double-double. I can't see anything down from the K. Great, my flute spot remains available. And I think I'll go with the fancy word, even though it's suboptimal. And it's suboptimal because it takes an S, but it may draw a challenge. My opponent may think I've transposed 2 tiles. Great, I have the blank and a pretty good rack. I do have another U. My opponent does challenge, loses 5 points. That's good. Now, Pally must have... I'm just surprised I'm not further ahead. And in fact, I'm behind. Despite bingoing and my opponent not bingoing. Oh well, I guess my opponent must have been scoring steadily. Indeed, 48 points for verify. So, what do I have with this rack? I surely do have a bingo. I've got the un prefix, I've got the ed ending. But where are the bingo lanes? I think unarched is good, except that doesn't hit a double word square, and I think there may be an anagram of unarched. Raunched, which I have a slight doubt about. I can't see anything beginning with V. Anything through the E is going to open up row A. Raunched is not too dangerous because the D is next to this double letter square, so it's hard to place a high scoring tile on it. Crunched. That feels a lot better. It does take an S in front, but that's not particularly dangerous on this board. Crunched 84. And I draw the second blank and an S. A pretty good rack. Only one vowel, but my blank can be a vowel. And there's the E of secretor and the O of 2 to play through. So I have bondings in column 15. If a bonding takes an S, I think it does. What else do I have? I've got the ing ending. Bendings, again, I'm not totally sure of. Nice score by my opponent, 48 points. The E of verify not available because nothing goes in front of the C. Wow, column 5 is available for a 10-letter word, which would be double-doubled. That would be pretty exotic. Can't see anything with this rack. So do I go with bondings? I will if I can't see anything better. And I'm just looking for any 7-letter lanes. And I don't think there are any, so I don't need to look for a 7. But is bondings good? Is bendings good? Do I have to have something through TA? So I've got stand and then bin. Tricky. It would be great if I could bingo again. That would be my 3rd bingo. And I'm only 30 points ahead, so a bingo now would be quite useful. Now, bendings would get doubled, and bondings wouldn't. I don't think bendings is good, but it might be. But is there an alternative play through the E? If it started 2 squares above the E, it wouldn't open up the triple word square, or it wouldn't place a tile in row O. So I'm going to mentally have in mind an E. 13 minutes on my clock. Haven't seen anything yet. That's bendings. Whoops. Bondings through a G. So I'm imagining an E on this, an E with these racks. Okay. Well, bendings may be good. I'm slightly less doubtful about bondings, although I still have doubt. Although this doesn't get doubled, it's not as dangerous as bendings in terms of opening up row O, because it doesn't open it up at all. Bondings 61. Pretty good rack. Probably not a bingo here. But scoring tiles and a balance of vowels and consonants. I do need to get rid of the duplicate I. V and F, pretty non-synergetic, but 5 would sort that out. So I could play 5s in row N, taking out the dangerous S hook of bondings. Now if bondings comes off, I'll be in the position of needing to decide if I'm going to risk bendings. But it hasn't been challenged yet. So do I have an alternative to 5s? Well, I don't have to find one. 5s remains available. Can I stick my F or my V on this triple letter square? I don't think so. 5s doesn't score very much, and it's opening up row O, which doesn't feel great. I've got the if-I's ending with VA, so it's not good, but their if-I's would work. Cav if-I's, okay, so I don't think I have anything there. My opponent's player has not opened anything up. 11 minutes on my clock, 33 tiles left. I don't have to play off the F and the V. Now I could play Vi. 22 points, keeping AFIS. Quite a few I's to come. Not a great score. I certainly want to play off the V. So a D, I would have Vifta. I can't see anything onto the G. Can't see anything through the V of Verify. Nowhere great for my F. Remaining tiles fairly bingo-y, but no blanks to come. Tav is good. Gosh, if only 5 was good, but it isn't. Can't see anything through this E. Look at these A's and E's, all of which could go underneath the F. That's what I'm concerned about. But I'm struggling to see anywhere else to play off my tiles. I could play Kivers, but that burns the S. I don't want to do that. I could play Vig, which has some merit. It blocks this S, it takes nothing in front of it, it provides pretty much nothing for my opponent. The downside is the score. I'm going to sort my rack out. If my opponent does take this triple word square, they will be opening up opportunities in row N further along, and I am taking out a dangerous floater. Great, I have Sagia. Not sure there's anywhere for that, but there may be if my opponent plays in row O. Can't see anything with this rack through the V. Not quite a Greaves. Now, does Sagia have an anagram? Raggies, perhaps. I think Raggies is good. I will try it. And that does play in row O, making fee and is. Great. I have some doubt about it, but I'm pretty sure Sagia does have an anagram. And if it does, I don't think it can be anything other than Raggies. Am I missing another spot for a bingo? The I is not a particularly useful floater. The N is slightly better, but doesn't... Well, it does go with this rack. It gives me gearings and greasing. It's just in the wrong spot to play. Okay. Ah, look at that. Look at that. How annoying. Both Raggies and Sagia don't play in row N. R and S don't go above the A. And nothing goes in front of FA. I can't believe my opponent's done that. Totally unacceptable. That is annoying. Is there a third anagram? I don't think there is. Am I missing a floater? Well, fives has really taken out the R and E of Secreta. Can't see anything coming down from the K. There's only 8 minutes on my clock and there are 25 tiles to come. I need to speed up. And this is a pretty good rack, so if I can just play off a couple of Gs... I was just wondering about a playthrough AMI, but I don't think I've got the time to spend looking for a play there. So I am looking to dump the Gs. I'd quite like to open the board up a little bit. I can play egg. Disappointing score, only 10 points. So, and I'm keeping a slightly vowel-heavy rack lead, although it's a pretty nice set of 5 tiles. I think I will go with this because although it's vowel-heavy, the floaters are consonants, the G of egg and the V of verify. And this is quite a nice set. Well, I draw the Q, but I've got an I to go with it, so I can play G and key. And I could even stick the S on the end of that if I don't value the S. But egg has opened up row L for a 7-letter play ending in S, so that increases its value. So I'm inclined to play this fairly quickly because I'm mindful of time. Only 7 minutes left, still 20 tiles to come, and I might have some racks which I really need to think about. That's 27 points. If I played Chi, Chi and in, 24, so this is a better spot. Sometimes there are really high scoring spots for the Q. I wouldn't want to miss one of those, but I don't think there are any on this board. That looks pretty good. I have roaster. Again, the R doesn't go in front of the A. And that doesn't work with egg either. Egg takes an S and a Y, but roaster doesn't fit in. Does roaster have an anagram? 50-point play by my opponent. I'm only 20 points ahead, 6 minutes on my clock. Do I have anything through the V? I have the over prefix, but then that's not going to work if it's as a prefix. Anagrams of roaster. Can't think of any. Do I have anything through the G? Possibly garrots. 6 minutes on my clock. I'm just thinking about playing up here, but I'd like to play off O and R. I think I am going to play off O and R because the rack lead of A, E, R, S, T is immensely strong. So where can I play O and R without blocking any bingo lanes. 5 minutes on my clock. I can play row. I'm only 20 points ahead, and that's only 12 points. Let me see if I can dodge the J. Yes! And that is the best rack in Scrabble, without a blank. I've certainly got a bingo here. I have a whole bunch of bingos ending in S, which play in row L, making eggs. They're all available. R doesn't take anything I've got in front of it. I think it takes a W. If I play through the V of verify, that won't get doubled. So in terms of getting doubled, I need to have the S not in last place, but not too close to the front. Anestri doesn't quite work. Ansia doesn't work. Or I need to have a play in row N. And I do. I have Steerin and Starny, but they both place a vowel over this double letter square. However, the only high-scoring tiles left are the J and the W. So Steerin is good enough. My opponent cannot put a high-scoring tile on this square and get it tripled. 4 minutes on my clock. Now, the reason for not playing this would be that row L is a better bingo lane because it's a 7-letter bingo lane for bingos ending in S. There is an S out there, and although the remaining tiles aren't massively bingo-y, there will be some bingos there. So let me just consider if I have a bingo which does play. I'm not going to play a row L bingo if it doesn't get doubled, because I don't think this danger is worth sacrificing points for. So, Anestri, Ansia, Nastia, Ratines, Retains, Retinas, Retsina, Stainastani, Steerin. I may have missed a couple, but none of those work. I'm going with this. Yep, I was just wondering about playing one square further on to get a tile above the M, but then that won't get doubled. Now, do I have a play in row L ending in N? Trannies and trains? No, I don't. What about a play in row K, which has got A, N, S? Ah, I have Anestri. I have Anestri here. Wow. I would have been livid if I'd missed this. Anestri. That is a much better play. Look at that. 95 points. Zarchin, Kite. Kite does take an S, so it would be better to have a play which doesn't give my opponent that opportunity. 2 minutes on my clock. Ansia doesn't work. Kit doesn't take a T. I'm going with this. Great. I have the J and the W, the two high-scoring tiles. My opponent may have a bingo, but he won't be emptying the bag, so I will have another play. I have Jawbones through a B. One B there, the other here, so that's not going to happen. I can't see any other bingos. Now my W can go in front of AAH. I think Wa is good. The game is, well, is it won? I'm 100 points ahead. Now I'm only 80 points ahead. If I phonied now, my opponent, well, would still have a tile, so I probably have won this. But do I have a play which utilises this W? Hook. I'm trying to find a play which plays off the J as well. So maybe I should keep the W for an outplay. So I could play E now or Anow, A-N-O-W. So where can I play my J? And I've got the S for pluralizing kite. That's not actually as great as I thought. My J, can it go on this square? I could play Joe, J-O-E, keeping snore and wah. I think that works. 1 minute on my clock. 28 points. Can I score more? I'm just looking around for hot spots for my J. I could play Zanja. What does that keep? N-J-A-O-E-S-W. 28 points for Joe. Snore. 45. I think I want to play Wah, so I'm going with this. And that's not too frivolous a comment, because although I'd score more for Zanja, I couldn't then place my W here and get it tripled. Oh, I'd forgotten I've drawn an extra tile, so maybe I should have played Zanja, but in any event, this is okay because I have Warns and Wah. Blocked. Well, I've got Rowans, which I'm inclined to play. Yeah, I will, because I'm out on time. I don't think there's a way of getting this W here tripled. So Rowan's 27. Just wait for my opponent to formally end the game, which they do. And the final score, 368 to my opponent, 493 to me, a winning margin of 125 points. So a pretty high-scoring game. Let's see what I missed. So it was me to go fast, and yeah, these are pretty dismal. Highest scoring player on offer, 6 points, so I think changing was correct. My opponent's rack, they play Kidge. Now, did I miss a bingo? No, I didn't. And most of these plays here are pretty long, and they wreck the rack, apart from Muir, which keeps a decent rack leave, and that was my play, and I still like it. My opponent plays Pally, and I have bingos, and I7 is the highest scoring. My opponent plays 2, and I play Fluid for 30, that looks fine. My opponent plays Verify, now I have the first blank. I play Crunched for 84. I could have played Quenched, getting the H tripled rather than the C for 4 more points, so that would have been a better play. My opponent plays Oxen. And now Bendings and Bondings both good. And although Bending scores 9 more, it's sticking an S in the middle of row O, so I don't think it's 9 points better. My opponent's rack, they play Dop. And I agonised over this one. I3 Via. Amir, so I thought about Via in that spot, but not Via. EFIS, not too bad a rack leave. And 5s, yeah, I think Via probably a better play on reflection. My opponent plays Amir. And now I am stumped for bingos. I play Egg for not very much, but leaving a decent rack leave. Horrible rack for my opponent. They play Burr. I've got the cube. I dump that with Chi for 27. My opponent plays the Z for 50, which is a great score. I'm only 23 points ahead at this point. And I don't miss a bingo here. I could have got 43 points. Across here, making Zoe and Cheese. Instead, I play Row for 12, so I sacrifice 35 points. Probably pretty close given how good my rack leave of rates is. My opponent plays R. I have a fabulous rack and play a Nestry for 95, which is, I think, the best. My opponent plays low. And now 1 tile in the bag, 2 minutes on my clock. Weeson. Well, that looks pretty good. Weeson on War. but it's keeping the J, and I'm drawing one tile from the bag, which may not be a vowel. Well, I don't know whether some of these plays are better than what I did. I think, well, it's very difficult when you're short on time to consider the options, especially when the game was won. I suspect one of these high-scoring plays would have been sensible, but keeping the J, there's just no guarantee of being able to play out in one when you're drawing a tile from the bag, whereas keeping whatever I kept with this rack does give me a chance of going out in one. Keeping SNAW gives me more chance of going out in one, I think. Anyway, my opponent plays out, and finally Rowan's was the highest scoring out. So, pretty exciting game, high scoring, nearly 500 points, and some nice bingo. So I hope you enjoyed watching that, and I will see you next time.